Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of I Drink and I Stack Things, the show where more Americans get their drinking and stacking information than any other nationality. Tonight I'm going to answer a question from a viewer that concerns melting down coins and goldbacks, but first I'm going to give you the bitter truth about IBUs. Two of the beers here are strictly for visual aids, while I will be drinking this Tangerine drink here from Lost Coast Brewery. I've had it before. It is quite good. It is a very light wheat beer, as you can see, with a tangerine flavor to it that you can definitely taste. So what are the other two beers here for then? As I said, they're visual aids because we're going to be talking about IBUs. IBU stands for International Bitterness Units, which is supposed to give you an idea about how bitter a beer is going to taste. For instance, this one here is Bochi Bochi Japanese-style rice lager, and it indicates on it that it is 17 IBU. Now, this tangerine one is 15, so this is going to be ever so slightly more bitter than that. But then we have this Tough Love barrel-aged imperial stout, which weighs in at a hefty 70 IBU. So this is going to taste much more bitter than either of these other two beers are. There's actually a formula for calculating the IBU, which I will put here on the screen for you fellow zymergical nerds. But that isn't the whole story about bitterness. Let me give you an example. An Imperial Stout and an IPA might both clock in at 50 IBU, but their flavor profiles will be very different, and some people might have a preference for one and a disdain for the other. Me, I'm some people. So what's that difference then? It mostly comes down to malt. IPAs have almost no malting to them, and as such they're going to be very hop forward and hop heavy. There isn't much sugar to hide the hops, so those 50 IBUs hit pretty hard and come off as bright or sharp when you drink it. Meanwhile, the Imperial Stout has a massive, thick, sugary malt bill. It would taste like syrup if not for the bittering of the hops, so that results in a more smooth bitterness. Me personally, I choose the latter, but nothing wrong if you prefer the former. Just getting that out there for you. But now on to our main story of the evening. Viewer 209 writes, just like they pay behind for some silver because of refining costs, won't the goldbacks need to be refined? Or can you peel the pure gold off of them and weigh it? And the premiums when you buy are high because it's fractional. Seems like you will lose on both ends.
You've got some attitude, mister.
Seriously though, I do appreciate the question, and it's a sensible one. First of all, it's not really possible to peel a goldback apart in that sense. Some of the older ones, in theory, had delamination issues, but as you can see, it's a pretty decent edge there. It's very hard to get a fingernail under there, so it's pretty secure in that sense, even the older ones. But the thing is, the ones that did delaminate, the gold particles still stuck to one or the other of the polymer sheets, and I don't think any appreciable amount of gold was lost. In any case, you send it to Goldback Inc. and they'll send you another one. And to your second point, yes, you would lose on both ends if you melted them down. This is because the process of making a goldback adds utility and value to it. Let me explain to you with a question. Here we have 32 goldbacks. For the sake of argument, let's put aside the exchange rate and speak as if it's only the amount of gold that's in these that we're talking about. Now here, you can barely see it on camera, we have a 1 gram Valcambi gold bar that was probably part of something that could be broken off like a candy bar or something. Both of these have roughly the same amount of gold to them, 1 gram. But if you were going to use this to make a necklace, which would you rather use? For me, the choice is obvious, that one. The only real use for this gram of gold is as a store of value currently, or as a raw material for producing something. Its only value is the same as that which is inherent to all gold, regardless of its form factor. It's valuable solely because gold is valuable. No one is displaying this in a frame on their wall, for instance. But if I were to melt it down and make it into a necklace, it would still be valuable for being gold, but it would have the additional value of being a fashion accessory. Now, this silver round here, well, actually, it's a silver eagle, not a silver round. It has value that's inherent to silver, but it also has a numismatic value due to its design, especially with what the mint is charging for new ones. And of course, there's a great deal of numismatic value in the older ones. Although it is discouraging to see that a lot of places are melting them down because they're more concerned with the value of the metal than of the historical context to them, but that's a topic for another video. As 209 acknowledges, the main value of the goldback is that it's small enough pieces of gold for everyday purchases, but beyond that it has numismatic value due to its designs. It also has value in that it's self-authenticating. This piece of gold here has neither of those. Not only is it very plain looking, but it has no chain of authentication to it anymore. A big part of the value of the goldback is that you don't have to have it authenticated. This gram of gold here, if I were to try to sell it to you right now, you have no way if it's real beyond, trust me, bro. And since so far at least no one has counterfeited goldbacks, there is a great deal of assurance that these are real. Now, to that end, people have actually taken some goldbacks and melted them down to prove that the gold they claim to have is actually there. I will link one such video from a guy named Tips. I hope I'm saying that properly. He actually took 10 50 goldback notes and melted them down and extracted the gold. He discovered 0.49 ounces, which is well within the margin of error for the refining techniques he used, and he acknowledges as such. So it's entirely reasonable that there is a ½ ounce of gold in those 10 50s that he melted down. But in the process of doing that, he did destroy a lot of the utility as well as a lot of the value. It has lost its chain of authenticity, all the artwork is gone, and it's no longer in a format that's easy to spend. It lost 3 key value indicators for the sake of one, versatility. At least versatility if you know how to refine gold. Tips basically sacrificed the goldbacks for a YouTube video, which I am absolutely not faulting him for, as it has gone a long way to stabilize the trustworthiness of goldbacks. And for that, he has the thanks of a grateful community. Anyway, that's about all I have. I hope that answers your question, 209, and thanks for giving me the idea for a new video. So feel free to like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I do read each and every single comment, and I will do my best to answer them. So until next time, actually, I'm going to do one more thing. I've been saying cheers if you drink at the end of my videos, and I think I'm just going to say cheers from now on, because I probably have some people who are watching these videos who are teetotalers and they don't drink, and they're getting more value out of the stacking parts of the videos. And that's perfectly fine. You are entirely welcome here. So cheers to you if you drink, and cheers to you also if you don't drink. I'm going to go enjoy my beer and keep on stacking.